my dream to own a car. It's my dream to improve on my spirituality. It's my dream, using the word dream. It's not too bad. It's good to have a dream. And that's one of the reasons teachers be encouraging us to follow our dreams. But have you ever questioned why they never let you sleep in the classroom? And that's because the journey does not stop there. Yes, you have a dream and that's good. But when you turn your dream into a goal, it communicates something to your brain. For a long time I told myself it's my dream to be successful. It's my dream to be a good person. It's my dream to become a man of God. It's my dream. And that's good. But the word dream signifies that it's something that does not have an end. It does not have a beginning. Anyone can have it. Any person can say I have a dream. But when you turn that word, the dream, and replace it with goal, and I say it's my goal to buy a car, right away it signifies that I'm already starting to get there. It signifies, it communicates to your brain that it has a beginning now. It communicates to me that, oh, you probably, if it's your goal to buy a car, you're probably saving already. That's the difference between a dream and a goal. And here, it's our goal to get to heaven. It's our goal to help our family. It's our goal to accomplish your goals, your dreams, and everything that you hope to accomplish in your future. And those are the two things that I wanted to make clear before I go on. See, I believe every single person want to be happy. That's the key. Nowadays we use the word success, but I believe that when we use the word success, all we're trying to say is that we want to be happy. Nobody woke up this morning and said, such a beautiful day. I cannot wait to be miserable. I don't think anybody did. Because that's not what we want. We want to be happy. Every single individual want to be happy. You woke up in the morning, you probably didn't even have to say it to yourself because it's something innate. It's something that is within you.
Come on.
And I remember, I've been only here in the United States for 8 years. And I remember, I'm a substitute teacher. Sometimes I do that when I don't have a whole lot going on. And I went to Lincoln High School to substitute. And it was an advanced class. And I hate the advanced classes because I'm afraid a student might use a hard word that I don't understand. And so when I asked, what class is it? And they told me it's English. I'm like, advanced English class? Okay. So I went into the class, and I remember this image as I was taking attendance. And a few students were skipped classes. And it hit me right back because I was the one who used to skip classes. And it hit me so well that I thought to myself, wow, this is how my teacher felt. This is how my teacher felt when I skipped classes. And I personally believe that, I'm not a pastor by any means, but I personally believe that when we skip prayer, when we make decisions to skip that prayer, I believe that's how God feels. And I was at Lincoln High School the same day. The assistant principal, called me in his office, and he asked me, Wilson, the drive you have, the passion that you have to achieve something, is it something you are born with, or can anyone get it? And that was a very good question. That's the question that we asked ourselves. That's the question I asked myself when I was in the refugee camp. I told myself, how come I cannot be like everybody else? And I know what he was telling me. He was asking whether it's innate or extrinsic. There's two different words. Innate signifies that it's something you're born with. Extrinsic is something that you can obtain. It's outside of yourself. And I answered and told him, I believe the ability to be happy, the ability to be successful, the ability to achieve your goals is extrinsic. Anybody have it. When you say it's innate, it means it's born within certain individuals. And some individuals might say to themselves, I was not born with it, so I cannot get it. But I always tell people, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what circumstances you're facing. Every single person has the ability to overcome certain obstacles and have the ability to achieve certain goals. And I talk about the concept between of trust between the mind and the heart. And this is my favorite because it signifies something that is very, very important. So there's a difference between the mind and the heart. And there's a trust between them. So imagine, if you would, when you were young, a baby. The trust between your mind and the heart were connected. You did not have different thinking. You thought the same. Your heart and your mind had the same thought process. But when we grow older, for example, a baby who does not know a whole lot, they might put a finger or a hand in the fire. But when they experience that pain, that's when they pull back. That's when it hits them. That's when the trust between the mind and the heart disconnects. And from that moment, that's when they now know that when I put my hand in the fire, it burns. So in a sense, they have experience now. That's what happens to us as we grow. I believe that's what happened to Adam and Eve when they broke the trust they had between them and God. That's what happened. I like to talk about this because growing up, it was so difficult for me to think that I can be successful, or I can believe in God, or I can just be like everybody else. It was so difficult. But that's because the trust between the mind and the heart for me was very, very disconnected because of the circumstances that I went through. So you have to remember there's a difference between the mind and the heart, and there's a trust. And when you second question yourself, like, can I do this and can I not? And sometimes we use certain obstacles, certain circumstances that took place in the past to define our future, to define ourselves. That's what happens. That's like the baby when you grow up. The more experiences you have, negative experiences you have, the more disconnect between the trust, between the mind and the heart. That's what I wanted to explain before I go on. And that's what I hope to talk about today. I want to be able to play this little video quick to hopefully demonstrate something. Okay, the reason I played that video is because those bricks are real bricks, or 5 bricks. And I remember seeing this guy, Kevin Taylor, breaking 700 bricks with his bare hands. I told myself, that cannot be possible. Because I'm used to shaking stronger people's hands, and I'm hurt. Like, I'm a small guy, okay? I'm hurt. And to me, it did not make sense. I'm like, 700 bricks? Lord, how did he do it? Then I got in touch with him, and then I asked him, like, how is that possible? Because for me, it was a new thing. Because my experience of, like, hitting something with your hand, it means that you get hurt. And that goes back to the theory, the trust between the mind and the heart, because of the experience that I had. But he told me something. He said it's instant ability. I'm like, what's the instant ability? And the way he explained it, he went back to the same theory. He said, the reason why you don't believe that is possible is because you've never seen it. It's because when you try to hit something with your hand, you get hurt. And that's how you grew up. And that's your experience now. In order to overcome that, you have to really, really force yourself to force the trust between the mind and the heart, to think as one, to think together. And I went to Detroit. It was in Detroit. And then I went to Detroit and I said, I just want to be able to learn. I just want to be able to experience this. And he taught me. He just kind of told me, just think of it as if they're not real bricks. Like, what? I would take my phone. I'm like, I'm going to call my mom quick so that way she knows what I'm about to go through right now. Lo and behold, I did it. I was able to break, of course, with, different training of how to get it done. But then I believe that truly there is a difference between the mind and the trust. And one of the reasons why many people will be like, I can't do this, I don't have experience, or I can't do this, I'm not smart enough, or I can't do this, I'm from this family. And that's because those are the negative experience that you're using to define yourself. That's what I wanted to explain before I go on. And I have this quote that I says, when you do better, other people seek to do better. And that's because growing up, whether you believe it or not, it was very, very difficult for me. I grew up in a refugee camp for 10 years. That's the Africa I know. Sometimes I get really, really frustrated to call myself an African, but then I didn't really experience like living in Africa like in a country. I was like in a refugee camp, and sometimes that hurts me a lot. That's the world I know. And I grew up as a Christian kid. They taught me about God. And this is one of the reasons I'm so happy to be here, because I'm going to explain something that really, really changed my whole lifestyle. It's something simple. Before I do that, I want to be able to explain this story. In the 13th century, the world's largest statue of Buddha, located in the southern part of India, was gathered by the king of Thailand, as he decreed that all statues be gathered and brought to his new capital, Bangkok. Prior to this statue being stolen, it was covered with mud and dirt to hide the gold underneath. From the 13th century, not until 1954, a monk who was in charge of overseeing all this statue was stuck in the rain. He discovered that the dirt-covered statue was actually glimmering in the moonlight. He's like, what? He was confused. He went closer to the statue and he touched it. And he found out that the glimmering part was gone. He was shocked. Because he was born believing that the dirt-covered statue was the ugliest statue you could ever see. That's how he thought. That's his thinking process. Generations after generations, they thought the same way. So now imagine he went back to town and told everybody. He told them, you know the dirt-covered statue? We know it's not made out of dirt, it's made out of gold. Now, imagine how people felt about this guy. I probably said to themselves, I don't know what school you went to. They probably got lied to me. He tried to convey a message that people cannot understand. And sometimes I feel like it's the same way. When you have this strong spiritual connection with God and trying to explain to somebody, you're like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, you don't know none of that. But then some people in town decided to go and experience what he was talking about. They went and they saw with their own eyes. And then they believed that the dirt-covered statue they knew was not made out of dirt. It was made out of gold. So the dirt stuff was just stuff that they put out on top of it to hide the gold underneath it. And that's how I felt growing up. I never discovered that I was golden inside. That's how I felt growing up. And you could tell me, my mom could tell me, you can do big things. I'm like, how can I do big things when I'm in a refugee camp? How can I believe in myself? How can I trust myself? How can I be able to believe that God loves me when I can't see? When I can't see, like we're talking about God's love, but I'm not able to experience. I'm going to bed hungry. It was very, very difficult. I was the same way how the people responded to the monk. He told them, the dirt statue we know, it's not actually dirt, it's made out of gold. And the people were confused. I was the same way. I was confused when people started to talk to me about God. Because I asked myself, if God loves me, why did I end up in a refugee camp? And that's the same way we always ask ourselves. If God loves me, why did this happen to me? If God loves me, why am I going through this? And I discovered one thing. You asking the wrong question. I was asking the wrong question. You asked the wrong question. You are never going to discover the right answer. I don't know if you do math, but if you're using the wrong formula, you're not going to get the right answer. So I was trying to find an answer that was not even there. It's not it's not about whether you're gonna get it or not. It's just you're operating in the wrong cycle. You're never gonna get it done. So for me, as I grew up, then I discovered that the reason why I ended up in a refugee camp is not that because God does not love me. It's because somebody, a human being like me, decided to not love another person. They made a decision to not love another person like they were supposed to. That's one of the reasons it affected me. See, when you make a bad mistake, not only it affects you as an individual, it affects everybody around you, your kids, your nieces, the next generation. That's what I believe in. That's what happened. When I discovered that, I took all the anger from God. I was like, I'm about to get it. I'm about to do the opposite thing that anybody did in my past. I'm like, I'm not going to do the same thing that other people did because I'll be doing the same thing. So it's my responsibility to own my future. That's what I got the concept from. And we're going to be talking a lot about it today because I was born in a small country called Burundi.